Okay, everyone, welcome. This is Jan with Jann Mendenhall Painting. And we did this little workshop here, which has our little two poppies on it. But what I wanted to do is go ahead and finish out this other little poppy because it's a little bit bigger. So, I have my 3/4 inch brush. I'm going to do this little poppy in a lighter pink. I'd mixed a little bit of white with my magenta, and then I'm going to use the berry wine and the magenta. I'm going to load it up over here, press real hard to get it loaded up into the brush, and then I'm going to dab in those two colors again. And I'm not going to push quite as hard, and I'm going to pick up a little dab of floating medium on the edge of the brush there. I'm going to go over to here. I've numbered my poppies, and you'll see that in my workshop. So I'm just going to continue and work around this. Again, I'm just base coating this in. Doesn't have to be exact. I'll set my brush down. We're going to pick up some white. I'm loading both sides with just white. Just pull it out from the edge of the puddle there. Come over here. This is where we're going to touch. Remember, I go out about 1/8 of an inch. Touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. That would be petal number 1. Now let's go over to petal number 2. This one right here. Pick up my other brush. Oops, wait a minute. Is that 2? Yes, that's 2. It actually looked like a 6 or something backwards here. Now see how my brush is getting a little dry on that edge there? That's when you can pick up a little medium, but beans, I am using the white as an overstroke. I don't need to worry about it. So I'm going to touch in the center, pull, 45 degree that direction, this direction, this direction, this direction. See how I've angled my petals? I'm going to go back on that because I want that a little deeper so it shows up against right here. 2, 3. Okay, 3 is right here. I'm going to pick up a little more light pink, a little magenta, go back, put a little float on that light pink edge. Now here I can use a shell stroke. Okay, I'm going to load my brush up with the white, both sides. Touch. Right here, here, and here. So touch, pull, touch, pull. Remember, I am just barely pulling in. I want this one. Overstroke that one a little bit. Petal number 4 is over here. So I like to have my petals up at the top here. See how at the top of the petal, I like them at the top because I'm going to pull it down. Here's 4. Getting a little thin on the dark. So I need to reload. Make sure I reload next time. This little petal's real short. Pick up a little more white. Touch, pull. Touch, pull. Touch, pull. It's 3 little strokes. Let's do one up a little bit. Reload. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Number 5 here. Oh, that's a short little petal. I could almost use a 16 brush on that. Okay, so touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. See, that didn't take long. I'll give that white edge. Here's petal number 6. Now, once you learn your strokes, they go really fast in laying these in. Oops, you missed that one. I thought I was in camera. Okay. Touch, pull. We're at that angle right there. Touch, pull. Touch, pull. Okay. There we go. Okay. Petal number 7. There's 7. Light pink. And you can switch back and forth for the dark on your berry wine or your magenta. Okay. Touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. All right. Now we're going to go to petal number 8. We're going to go all the way over here. Okay, now this petal here, your center point is going to be right down here. And by center point, I mean where that petal would grow out from the stem. If you take the center of that poppy right here, that is where the stem would grow into your poppy, even though these other petals are covering it because your petal blooms outward. So let's put this in here. So you can be really sloppy laying this in your base coat. What you're concerned with is your overstroke, making sure you get it turned in the correct direction. Okay, so if this is here, we're going to start here. Touch, pull, touch, pull, touch, pull. Number 9. I think that one says 9 too. I'll have to look on the sheet here. Oops. I want the dark under here. Sometimes you might have to just use the edge of the brush to base coat it in. I really need to drop down to a 16, but I don't want to change brushes, so here's how you handle that. Yep, you just use one corner for the light, the other corner has the dark, and just pity pat that in. Now come back with your white and overstroke your white. Now I'm going to overstroke it actually upside down, so you'd have one stroke here, one stroke here, and another one right here, like that, because your bowl of the flower is right here, right? Okay. Now pick up some more light pink, a dark pink on the other edge. I'm going to get a little medium on this. Okay, we'll come up to this petal here, block this one in, and I'm going to block 10 in also while I'm here. Once you start doing these, you can do more than one, you can block in more than one petal. The main thing is you don't want to block in so many of them that your base coat dries. Now this one, this is the front. So I want this to kind of connect down. I'll put that one in front. This one, I'm going to pull this one behind. Okay. Now I touched that one accidentally. So we can go back and touch up that one. Let me get a better edge on that. There we go. Want that one to look like it's in front of that right there. And it does. Now we're coming back and we're going to add our front petals here. Again, they're small, so I'm thinking I am going to have to use the side or the corner of the brush. So here's the corner of the pink, so I'm going to add the pink color right here. Add the dark color right here. Just kind of mingle them where they meet. Okay, now come back with our white. So we're going to touch, pull. I'm going to connect this petal with the front petal. This one. Okay, now this one will come in the front there. I lost that edge, but I'm going to come back in just a minute and redo that one. I'm going to let it set until I finish this other one. And that is just to keep it, let it set up just a little bit. Now here is the bowl. Here's your bowl, your flower right here. That's where, remember, there's your center where the stem would be. This bowl here connects all of these petals that bloom out. Okay, so these are going to be connected to the front. These are facing down. These are facing up. That's what I mean when we have a bowl there. And I know you're probably confused with this petal right here, but on the pattern you can see what I'm talking about. It's just I've covered up a lot of my pattern here, and so you're probably looking at this and you're probably lost on it. So here, let's create this petal in the front here. So touch, pull, come over here, touch, pull that one in. Now I'm not connecting these. This one's just going to be on the front here, but it's still connecting in the bowl right there. And that's fine. Now this one, remember, we just got through talking about that. Pull my paint over. I want a nice clean edge on that. I want that to show up. So I'm going to touch it again. Pull down. See, now it shows up. Same thing on this one right here. I want that one to show up a little better. So I'm going to touch my brush, load it with the white, touch on a chisel, pull in. Okay, see how that brought that one forward? Okay, let's look at all our petals here. And I'm just checking to see if I need to bring some more of them more forward. Bring that one. There we go. See how it brought that one forward? Okay. Now the only other one I see is this one right here. Now, can you see how it leaves a hard edge on that? Now it will do that if you're doing dry overstroking. You can take your scruffy brush and even scruffy brush that back edge smooth it down. What I usually do, you can add just a little bit of floating medium with your finger. Like I'm going to put a little floating medium on this next petal here. I'm going to add some right back there too. Now this is if everything's dry, and you're going to come back and you want to highlight another area. I'm going to take a little of that off, because if you put too much, then it'll be more like watercolor. Okay, you just want it to where it's damp. Then I can come back with color on my brush, and I can touch it, pull in, and I get a feather as opposed to a dry brush. Now what I mean by a dry brush is the back end here doesn't feather with a dry brush. You tend to have a real hard edge on it. And I don't want a hard edge, I want a soft edge. And you would have to wet it with some of your floating medium. You have to make sure this is all dry though before you go in there and try to put any floating medium on that. But the trick on coming back and re-highlighting petals if they're already dry is to make sure it's dry, come back. I'm taking my finger and I've made a little pile here, just floating medium. I'm just going to dip my finger in it. See, I have some on my finger. I'm going to blot a little bit of it off on the plate there. Come back, add a little floating medium to that area that I want to highlight. Like I'm going to do this little area here. All I need is to have it damp. You want it shiny. Then you know that it's okay to come back and do an overstroke, and you will get that blend on the back here. You won't get that hard edge on it because you've wet the surface first. Okay, that's what that means. Alright, so now I would add some, I like the little center fillers for these, so I would go in with my liner brush and I would pick up a little bit of this yellow ochre with a little berry wine with a little bit of water. Make a little puddle like I'm doing on my palette right here. You can see in the lower right corner. Twist your brush around and then come back. Now I have to turn this a certain way too. Come back and add some stamens. Here's the stem. They should be coming out around here, this area. I'm using a 2-inch liner here. Okay, now I'm going to dip straight into moon yellow, right there. Then I can add my little stamens here. There we go. Yeah, that fun? Okay, now when you look at everything, now we have 3 of our poppies done. Isn't that pretty? So we have a darker pink, we have a yellow, and then we have a lighter pink. Now what I will do is, when this all dries, again I'm going to take my finger, see my finger over here, right here. I'm going to take and dip into some floating medium, and I can come back and I can wet right here next to these two flowers here, they are dry. Add a little floating medium right here. Pick up a little bit of the berry wine right here on my palette, see? Come back in here and start finger painting some of this background. I'm just adding a little bit of color back here, right around these poppies. But see how well that adds some color around these? Isn't that pretty? That just adds a really, really soft touch to your poppies. And what I will do is I will go ahead and complete all of the shading around these poppies. And then I'll come back and I'll just add a little bit of greenery for everybody. So thank you for watching. And until next time, bye for now.